Hey, it's Roy Wood Jr. from The Daily Show with Trevor Noah and host of the new podcast, Beyond the Scenes. In each episode, I, along with Daily Show correspondents, writers, and producers, dig deeper into your favorite segments. We talk about how the show comes together, what we left on the cutting room floor, and where we're at now with these issues. We're talking about topics like police violence, sex robots, gun control, therapy in the black community, and so much more. Listen to Beyond the Scenes from The Daily Show on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Powerful storytelling can capture audience attention and keep them hooked. And when it comes to making apps exciting and addictive, gaming apps are the hands-down experts. My guest draws from a long track record at Disney, Riot Games, and now Wooga to give us some top tips and some fun shortcuts to make a story compelling. All this and more in episode number 428. Welcome to Mobile Presence. I'm your host, as always, Peggy Ann Saltz, mobile analyst, tech consultant, and founder of Mobile Groove. So good marketing is powered by great creatives and amazing storytelling. I probably don't need to tell you that, but in order to get there, we do need good ideas, inspiration. We're getting both from a woman who knows this because she has a long track record doing it at Disney Interactive, at Riot Games, and now at Wooga. She's also a mobile hero, showing off her cred, chosen by Liftoff, a full-service mobile app marketing and retargeting platform. So my guest today, and as I said, a mobile hero, is Melanie Zimmerman. She is head of marketing at Wooga. And Melanie, great to have you here. You are creative to the core. It really is what you're all about. Where does that spark come from?
I actually think the initial spark of all this for me came from early travels with my parents. So my father worked for Lufthansa, a German airline company, and we traveled a lot when I was a child, and to back then in the early 80s, pretty exotic places like India, Africa, and Japan. And obviously, I do not remember much of this actively, but I'm pretty sure this has shaped me and my interest and what makes cultures different and what our similarities are. So pretty sure that had a big role in this. And also, I've always had a creative side. As a child, I wanted to be a fashion designer. So later on, this all made me study business management and psychology, and then communication design as well.
You've been in a lot of places, from China to Canada, now Germany, and now I understand it, having that your father was at Lufthansa. So, travel is in your DNA. Maybe there's a lesson you could share from your travels that make you a better marketer, or what might a trait of a good marketer be, in your opinion?
Traveling. And I also lived in different countries. So I lived in Germany, in England, in China, in Italy. So basically traveling and especially also living in different countries has definitely shown me that there are always different ways and angles to look at things. And I'm talking about things like cultural differences, about everything, beauty, humor, what is appealing, what is not. And I think this has really not made me only a better marketer, but also a better person and a better manager. And it has had also a strong influence on how I, for example, build teams. I strongly believe in the success of diverse, multicultural teams, with people coming together from different backgrounds, right? So you bring all these things together in one place and get the best out of it.
And also in marketing, you have to have the right teams. You're bringing together more and more functions. I was just doing an interview the other day with someone who was telling me about all the different people who sort of have to sit at the table in order to have a holistic marketing strategy. So not just app, but all of the above, from out of home all the way through to mobile app and web. That's not the case necessarily at Wooga, but it is the point that you have a holistic approach. Who sits at that table? Tell me a little bit about the teamwork that you shape and also inspire.
The Wooga marketing team consists of like a variety of sub-disciplines, obviously, and we're making sure that when we work together, we involve people from different expertise, really. So you have marketing managers, you have CRM managers, you have community managers, You have customer care. You obviously have the UA managers or performance marketing people and creatives, right? I always forget them. This is where I come from, so I forget talking about it. So it's kind of, and you really want to make sure that you have this collaboration between looking at the business numbers, having goals, what are your KPIs, etc. From then analytics, people coming from data science, and then of course all of these people should have a little bit of all of this. But there are the specialists coming from all these different sites together, and they are all together in meetings talking about what the next campaign should look like.
Great segue. I couldn't hope for a better one, Melanie, because I was going to ask you about a campaign. You bring together these people, these ideas. The end point, the end result is a campaign. And if you're lucky, it's a very compelling, creative is a part of that, part of the story, a part of the storytelling. What is an example for us of a creative or story that you've developed in your career that you're the proudest of?
I think it's still the League of Legends World Championships in 2015. That's when I was the head of visual design for Riot Games. And it was just such an epic experience to stand in the sold-out Mercedes-Benz arena full of excited League of Legends players and know, wow, my team has created this. I don't know how much you know about League of Legends or esports, but to roughly explain, the World Championships are an annual event for the online community, what is kind of rare in the world of gaming. And the events are all about the community and obviously esports. So it's about the winning and losing, the teams and athletes, rivalry and competition, heroes rising and falling, the stuff that are good stories made of, right? And of course, there's also the whole aspect of the game and its lore in there as well, right? Stories, art. That was amazing. If you haven't seen it, check this out on YouTube.
That's really exciting. Really being there, really inspiring this community. And that's a big part of what marketing is about going forward, because in a post-IDFA world, we're really thinking a lot more about engagement. It looks as if it's going to be quite different. Is it really so radically different? I mean, creative is important now, more important in the future? This
whole thing will, of course, have a massive impact on how mobile studios particularly do things when it comes to creatives for UA, because it basically throws us back by, 10 years when it comes to creative testing, what isn't great at all. But as you said, the core concept of creative or strong brand development, because brand development doesn't only mean the creatives that come out of the brand development, right? Brand development is this whole work that you do behind before you create the creatives. So brand development and designing with intention remain the same, these core concepts. It's just harder to target your audience segments and tell the right parts of your story to the right people. So I say, if you have a good product, a solid brand and stories to tell, you will still be able to succeed also post IDFA. And you're really into brand building as well. You've written a blog about it. We'll tell everyone where they can find it later on, but it starts with understanding the user, the psychology of brand building. You studied psychology. What does all this mean? I mean, what do you have to pay attention to? It's very broad to say, understand the user, understand what you stand for. Most people are not thinking about brand. So I have to say kudos for you for it, because it's not just for the Nikes of the world, Yeah. This is exactly one of the things that I'm also trying to bring to the mobile space, right? Brands have become more and more about standing for something or making statements that their audience can identify themselves with. And customers base their acquisition choices on if they like a brand or not. So we probably all have a thing that we are ready to pay more for, basically just because we feel emotionally connected to a brand, right? So for me, this would be, if you have an iPhone, why do you actually buy an iPhone over another phone? So building this connection is one of the key elements for successful marketing. And you really want to invest in user research / feedback, and particularly the brand development to find a sweet spot between your users, and that's existing and potential ones, your brand's future, and obviously your business goals. So this is the important part.
You also talk in your blog about the power of emotion, the power of pleasure and pain motivators, which is very intriguing. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more, and also let me understand the creative or marketing that will hook your users if that's what you're focusing on.
Yeah, so the pleasure and pain motivators are just one thing that we use, right? It's about emotional involvement. But the easiest way of getting someone's attention is with something scandalous or something shocking or something considered a hot topic in society at that moment in time. So you basically hook your audience with a strong emotion, what is also great for acquisition because it's usually fast and snappy. And then you tell your story using those emotionally engaging methods, like, for example, those motivators, and they have to be appropriate to your brand and audience. And this is one of the reasons also why, like I already mentioned, some big brands are taking such strong political or social stances in their media campaigns, particularly those epic brands, right? It's about connecting with your audience about topics that are relevant for them. Though it's extremely important for these statements to fit in with your overall brand strategy, because just throwing something out there that isn't in line with the rest of your communication simply doesn't work and is very likely going to be hurting your brand and business. So you really need the element of authenticity for this to be credible.
Quick answer. I mean, can you think of a creative that hooks users every time? Is there such a thing?
Yeah, like I said, usually something that hooks them with like a, oh my God, what's this, right? Kind of thing. And then you tell a story, and ideally the story has a good ending, because then people get this feeling of, almost like sighing out and feeling like, ooh. And though, of course, in mobile marketing, if you think about particularly UA ads, you don't have all that time to tell a whole story, right?
Exactly.
So you have to think about how you tell the story, possibly across different platforms. What does this even mean to tell a story, right? Do you tell it linear? Do you tell it across different platforms? Is the story your brand or your product itself? So that is something to think about.
Indeed. And we have time to think about, because we do have to go to break, Melanie. Great timing. When we get back, we'll be talking more about brand and performance marketing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Mobile Presence, sponsored by CleverTap, a leading engagement and retention platform, will be back after this message.
Ready to do a podcast for your business? Make that podcast elevate to enterprise level. Let webmasterradio.fm expedite and execute your podcast to build your brand and broaden your customer base. Webmasterradio.fm has worked with the world's biggest tech brands, Google, Yahoo, and Bing, and have worked with fast-growing brands like ShipStation and GoDaddy. Now it's your turn. Contact BRASCO at WMR.fm and rush your enterprise-level podcast into production at a very reasonable rate. Email BRASCO at WMR.fm.
Are you looking for the best in WordPress speed, security, and scalability? WP Engine is a digital experience platform for WordPress, powering digital experiences for large brands around the world. With easy-to-use site management tools and powerful do-it-your-way development features, WP Engine gives you the flexibility to build it your way. Improve your SEO and conversion rates with a faster site on WP Engine. Learn more on WPEngine.com. Welcome back to Mobile Presence on WMR.fm. Here is your host, Peggy Ann Sauls.
And welcome back to Mobile Presence. We have Melanie Simmerman. She is head of marketing at Wooga. And Melanie, you are really one who's focused on brand, marketing, storytelling, all those things that matter to marketers that they're not paying a whole lot of attention to, I have to say, but they are moving more and more in the right direction. Still, you have those moments when brand and performance marketing, they just do not agree. What do you do when they don't agree? What do you do when performance wants a creative that brand is saying, no way?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is if you have a UA team that is hiding ads from your in-house creative team that they have created an agency, you know something is wrong. I've been there, actually. So you just have to, it is super important to have a team that trusts each other and works with transparency and collaboration, right? So you have these different sub-disciplines in marketing that have to work closely together, particularly in this case, the creatives and the UA team. And you have to look at the trade-offs. Why do we want to run this creative? What can we potentially learn? How high is the risk, etc.? And really get everyone on the same page with it. Mm-hmm. That's how we do it.
And make certain they're not hiding it in some file.
No.
What's that Dropbox for? No, I'm just kidding. I can see it. In your blog, you also write something I thought was pretty cool. You're writing, converting installs into engaged app users is where the fun part of the job starts. So where's the fun in that for you?
For me personally, there is a lot of fun in the whole planning, analyzing, seeing what makes people tick. However, I think the real fun part is how rewarding it is to see happy players who enjoy what you do for them in and outside the game, right? Because it's basically once you got the new user through the top funnel, you can really engage them with your product marketing strategy and hopefully make them loyal long-term customers. And marketing has much more than ads and commercials. At Wooga, we connect with our player communities on social media, through CRM channels, and with content marketing campaigns. And my team is doing the best job, really, I have to say. They are really great in having these creative ideas for marketing campaigns and really interacting with the players. So, we can get really creative while driving business KPIs, what's also very rewarding, right? So it's great.
And content marketing is fun. I'm seeing so many people use that because it allows you to say everything you can't get across, in that very short video, in that interstitial. You tend to want to tell a story, and it must be frustrating sometimes if the format doesn't permit it.
So there you can really go wild, right? I don't know if you've seen, for example, for June's Journeys, one of our games, we have those anniversary campaigns once a year. And they are great. So they are basically, we had a competition for our players and they were sending in videos, and then we invited them to the studio and could actually also then talk to them and have takeaways from this, right? So we invited them to Berlin for a week, and we invited them to make them really experience how great our studio actually is and how much we care. But on the other hand, we did get information from them, and we also could film them being around Berlin and then use it, on our social media channels to show to other players how much these people enjoy the game, etc. So it was really a win-win situation.
You talk about that's where the fun in the job is. Where's the fun in your daily routine? Got to think about that one because it's all work from home, I know, but
yeah, that is exactly the thing, because I have to say, for me, it's a lot about seeing my team succeed. So I really, like I said, I really care about building teams and then obviously also leading those teams, right? So seeing people work together and enabling to do their best job as a manager, and see them being excited about having new concepts and ideas, and then see the results come in. I mean, sometimes also have not so great results, right? And people going, damn, this wasn't so great. This whole thing of working together and collaborating and making things work gives me great satisfaction.
You love building stories. You love creatives. It's what you do. It's what you enjoy. If you could make an app for yourself in your free time, so you can build an app rather than build a story, build a creative. And if, of course, you have any free time to do it in the first place, but what genre would it be? What would it be? What would this app be if you could make one?
So there, I mean, sorry to possibly disappoint you, but it would be something pretty boring. Like I need a good finance app that lets me trade stock, ETFs, and crypto in one place. would be the first thing that comes to my mind.
Well, that's not a bad idea, though. Actually, if you think about it, Melanie, it hasn't been done yet, so we may have just hatched an idea right here.
Could think about the story of that one.
Yeah. I'll wrap up with one question, because you were talking about what you like in marketing, and what appeals to you, what appeals to everyone out there. Everyone has a guilty pleasure, something in marketing or real life, right? Around what would capture your attention, what would capture your interest. What is your guilty pleasure in marketing or elsewhere?
Ooh, my guilty pleasure, I can tell you that I will tend to now as well, is cake and coffee every day.
I can see it. Totally. Chocolate. It's the only answer.
Yeah, basically.
And you tell me this around my dinner time, Melanie. That is so cruel.
I finish work usually between 6 and 7, and then I have coffee and cake, and everybody thinks I'm a little bit crazy, because dinner also happens afterwards, right? I'm not skipping dinner.
Get the dessert first. That's the thing. Well, it has been great chatting with you, Melanie, and I'm sure that people, they do like to stay in touch with people on our show. How would they get in touch with you? Maybe even read other blogs? What's the best way to stay in touch?
I think the easiest is nowadays actually LinkedIn. So look for Melanie Zimmerman with 2 N, and you will find me pretty easily.
Perfect. Thank you. And of course, if you want to read up on Melanie or any of the other mobile heroes in the series, you can check out their dedicated page over at heroes.liftoff.io. And if you want to keep up with me throughout the week, find out more about how you can be a guest or sponsor on Mobile Presence, then you can email me, Peggy at Mobile Groove. MobileGroove.com is also where you can find my portfolio of content marketing and app marketing services. And of course, you can check out all of the other earlier episodes, hundreds of them, by going to WMR.fm, or you can find our shows on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio simply by searching Mobile Presence. So until next time, remember, every minute is mobile, so make every minute count. Keep well, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of webmasterradio.fm's management or sponsors. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without authorized consent of webmasterradio.fm is prohibited.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
My dad used to say that.
Sure, yeah. It's from Geico.
Yeah, whenever I would ask my dad for life advice, he'd sit me down and say, son, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. And look at me now, a well-adjusted adult with a drawer full of plastic bags I'll never use.
Okay, I'm confused. Was your dad a licensed Geico agent?
Nah, he was just a real good dad.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.